This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Creations Entertainment Network.
I'm Jason Klaus. Over the course of my life, I've done a lot of different things. I've worn a lot of different hats. But this may be my greatest endeavor yet. On this show, we're going to focus on life. We're going to focus on the basic fundamentals. We're going to focus on the silver light. Because no matter what happens, no matter what is thrown our way, there is a silver light. There's a lesson to be learned. Sometimes you just have to look a little bit harder, a little bit deeper for it. That's what this show is all about. Sometimes you're rough, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're hard to listen to. But it's something that you need to hear. This just got real.
And now, Pure Creations Entertainment Network. It's a flagship show, the Klaus the Heart Podcast. Here is your host, Jason Klaus.
And we welcome you to the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network. You're listening to the Klaus of the Heart Podcast. I'm Jason Klaus. Certainly appreciate you tuning in here this week. If you're watching the video presentation, either through Spotify or through the YouTube channel, you will see right out of the gate that this is a different type of episode than you may be used to in recent weeks and recent months, because I have a very special guest that's going to be joining me here in just a moment or two. And the reason why is because, number one, he's one of my dearest friends, somebody I have all the respect in the world for, and he's doing something extremely cool. And when people do cool things, I like to put a little spotlight on that. But before we get to him, I do want to make mention real quick that as a programming note, this coming Friday is not only Valentine's Day, but you're going to get the next installment of the Fatal 4-Way live on ONTV. We do go on the air at 6 p.m. and you can watch it live as it happens and call in to the studio to be a part of that conversation. You can go to facebook.com/OrionONTV for that particular installment. We're looking forward to a great episode there. But before we get to Lake Orion on Friday, we're here on the flagship show on Tuesday. And joining me, like I said, somebody that I have just the utmost respect for. He's no stranger to this show. He's no stranger to the PFC Entertainment Network. In fact, not all that long ago, he had his own show on here with his good friend Brett Fortney, Hanging with the Hitman. Longtime listeners of the network will remember that fine program. But here today, I've got Todd Gilbert with me. And Todd, man, it's been a minute since we've sat down and had, any kind of conversation that didn't revolve just around text. So it's the first time I've actually seen your face in any realm. You look good, brother. You look happy. Thanks, you look healthy. How's things?
Things are great, man. We've got a recording studio now that we built here in Mount Morris. Been up and running now for about 3-4 months. Mm-hmm. So that's going really well. Doing a live stream twice a week over on Twitch, where I do request playing drums. So I get tracks that don't have drums in them, and then I play along. People make requests, stuff like that. And just doing a 9 to 5 and raising a couple kids, and life's pretty good, man.
We're going to get to the reason why I contacted you yesterday in a little bit because I want that to be kind of the main event, as it were. Sure. But you and I have been friends for a long, long time now, and I have told the story not all that long ago on the flagship show. I believe it was one of my Ask Me Anything episodes, and you got brought up because you were my last opponent in my career, in professional wrestling. And
as you were mine as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Funny how that worked. It wasn't written that way, but
we
tired
each other.
Yeah. How about that?
Right.
But I've been paying attention. I've been keeping tabs on you. I don't really post a whole, at least nowhere near as much as I used to on social media. But that doesn't mean I don't seek out and follow the ones that I'm interested in what's happening with them. And you're definitely one of those guys. I know, in the last year may not have been all sunshine and rainbows for you, but the one thing that I take away that has always been one of your calling cards as a human is your perseverance, is your ability to take a less than favorable situation, and instead of just letting that dictate your entire mood, like you're acknowledging it, you're healing from it, but you're still moving forward. That is something that, that's one of the underlying things that established the foundation of the flagship show here. And I don't know how deep into the woods you want to go with this. I certainly don't want to lead this conversation and make you talk about anything that's uncomfortable or that you don't want to put out there, but as vaguely as you can, kind of talk to me about what 2024 was and how it has inspired you, because you just got done saying you built a new recording studio. That's something that you don't hear a whole hell of a lot of. You hear people say, well, one day I'm going to do this, or one day I'm going to do that. You're actually going out there and doing the damn thing. So kind of talk to me, Todd, about like the mindset of, coming out of a less than ideal situation and how you have allowed that to inspire you to this new chapter in your life.
Okay. It's no secret. 2024 started off as, are we allowed to swear in this show?
Absolutely.
2024 started out as a goddamn shit show.
Sure.
And my longtime girlfriend broke up with me and had to find a place to live and all that kind of stuff. I'm still currently working on. But it was a big blow at first. It's definitely a punch to the ego, so to speak. And I wasn't innocent in the way things ended up shaking down in the end. I take responsibility for any part that I played in the eventual termination of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still really hard because you kind of have to look inward at yourself during that process, going, okay, what about me led to this? And am I going to be defined by this relationship I had, or am I going to look at it as this was an experience for a few years, but now it's time to grow and move on to whatever the next thing may be. And it was a struggle for a while. I don't mind telling you. Because you're so used to something
Sure.
for so long, But I went through my period of mourning, so to speak, because you almost do mourn it like a death in a way. Not so much as like I'm never going to see this person again, but it's a part of your life that's over,
right?
And is never coming back. And so it took a couple months to get through that. But thanks to when I the whole DDP yoga thing that I did that I started in 2015 that I still do to this day. A lot of that is about mindset. And for those who don't know or haven't heard me yammer about it before,
You've been living under a fucking rock if you haven't, if I can be honest with you. That's very much a big part of your success story, for sure.
It is. And a lot of it is about mindset. And the biggest motto we live by, those of us who are in the program or teach the program like I have, things like that, is living life at 90%. And what that means is life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you react. So you build your own story in many ways. So it was really hard not to just be a pity party at first. But after a while, it kind of hit me like, you know, this situation can't define me. I have to move forward. Giving up has never been in my vocabulary, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stubborn as hell sometimes. To a fault. Sometimes.
I can understand.
But, yeah. And really, so I decided to focus on things that I know will bring me joy, and things that now being a single person, I can focus on these things like full bore. And the studio thing, for example, has always been something I've wanted ever since I was a teenager. My best friend Ashley and I had a studio downtown Flint, but it was a rented space that wasn't fully ours. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Like we could come and go as we please, but we had other people in a building to think of and worry about, and noise and whatever. So I started exploring that option. And also with me having to move, I have a lot of musical shit. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem. Like, where the hell am I going to put all this stuff? And so the studio thing very quickly started becoming a focus. And I reached out to my dear friend Rob Johannes. He is a bass player. He is an artist as well. And also just one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. Like you, he's one of those fierce friends that I know is going to be there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That when the chips are down, I don't have to wonder where I stand with him.
That is so important.
It is. And I know that if I need to lean on somebody, he's always right here. So I was just telling him about my situation, what was going on, and he proposed constructing a recording studio in his building. He owns a screen print shop that is part of a big warehouse here in Mount Morris. And he had this big back room that they weren't using. They were just throwing stuff in here to get stuff out of the way kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, if you want, we could put your stuff in here, and over time, we can be able to do it right away, but we can start turning it into something. And he's a musician too, so it's not just my studio, it's both of ours. It's every bit as much his as mine.
Mm-hmm.
If not more so, this building.
Sure.
But so I moved everything in here into just a blank room. I just kind of kept everything here for a while while I sorted everything else out. And then a few months in, we actually started constructing it. And now it is been about a month since we finished it. And it's completely done now, except for the flooring, but that'll be done later. It's not a big deal. But the room is just as much a recording studio as it is a lounge and almost a museum of all the musical things we've done. All the albums I've done are hanging up on the wall. We have a spot when you walk into the studio. There's these two walls, like an entranceway. And we took albums we grew up on as kids and just that have influenced us throughout our lives and made this amazing collage on the wall. So it just looks like someone put a bunch of albums on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hung up all our guitars up in front of it. We have a super comfy couch you can see behind me. and artwork and everything. And he's an artist too. The paintings on the bottom he did, for those who are looking on the video. And the top stuff is me. So having that space really has been therapeutic because I can come here, I can lock the doors, and it's just me, and I can do whatever the hell I want in here. And that's a really nice feeling to have. And I had another friend of mine whose daughter is a musician. She's an incredible musician. And they've been looking for a studio, and he heard about me building this studio. And he's like, we'd like to start recording with you. And I said, well, I don't have everything I need yet to be a fully functioning studio to have clients and all that stuff. He's like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, well, what? I like this. Like, well, what if I just buy them and become a partner in the studio? And instead of paying you an hourly wage to record her, look at this gear as my payment.
Oh shit!
And who the hell would turn that down?
For sure.
You know. And he's also somebody. Him and I have been dear friends since high school, since middle school actually. So to have him come in as a partner with Rob and I really gave the studio a shot in the arm and really helped us take it over the finish line. So the studio has been my prime focus since the breakup and everything. The studio has been a really big part of helping me get back to myself. You know, my mom had told me at one point, she said, it's really cool to see the old you again. She said, which I haven't seen in years. And I said, well, okay, I didn't know that it was there. But it's something that has really rejuvenated me and really ignited my creative focus all over again. So I just leaned into things I love and used those things to get over everything else that happened and just move forward in life.
So much of what you just said I can relate to on some level. Mm-hmm. You know, having that, for you it's music. Yeah. Before that it was art. You really dove into your art projects, which you were an amazing artist. I have a picture that you painted for me of the Undertaker. I still have that here. Awesome. Before that you were dialed into the wrestling scene when the MWO was a thing. Mm-hmm. And the couple of things that stand out is, I can really appreciate the mindset of using the breakup, because a lot of people, when a relationship comes to an end, especially one that went on for as long as yours did, when that comes to an end, man, like that derails people, and a lot of people don't know how to get back up on the track. That's their lot in life now. They let that define them, much like what you were saying.
Well, and so many people have a thing where they're defined by whether or not they have a relationship or not.
Yeah.
And I said a long time ago, I don't ever want to be that person. My best friend actually was very much like that before he passed away. Like, if he didn't have a girlfriend, he felt like a loser, And I don't ever want that to be me.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, certainly not. It's those little things that puts it in a clearer picture. So I can appreciate that. Now you said, there's just so much here. I appreciate the fact that you've got a support system in place that has clearly been beneficial, has really not only been there for you personally, but has also opened these doors of opportunity for you to continue to explore your dreams on a professional level.
Yeah.
What all went in, if you don't mind my asking, what all went into the construction part of your new studio? I mean, were you building walls? Was it just kind of renovating what was there, paint, all that stuff? Talk me through this real quick.
So the room I'm in currently didn't exist.
Okay.
The space did, but the room didn't, if that makes sense.
Total sense.
It was just a large rectangular area, and it's in a warehouse. And the wall was just the metal outside wall with some beams, very bare bones. Concrete floor, no real walls to speak of.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an area. And when we first came in here, I had gotten some backdrops and put them up just to kind of make it look a little more comfortable. But no, it was very much from the ground up build. Rob was in here building walls and insulating the walls and spray foaming the inside of the walls to prevent leaks and stuff, and also to soundproof it.
Absolutely.
And so it was very much from the ground up. We chose the colors to paint the walls. Hung all the lighting that you see if you're watching here. Was put in after the fact. There's tons of track lighting and stuff all over the room. So it was very much a from the ground up, bare bones build.
So talk to me about the mindset of setting, like obviously when you guys started embarking on this, you had kind of a vision, you had a goal, you had, we'll call it a low-key dream. Yeah. You've always wanted your own studio. Mm-hmm. You're now sitting in the thing. So talk to me about how that feels. I mean, because obviously, Todd, you've got to look at this as, something of an accomplishment, because so many people that I know, that we have mutual friends, but there's people that I don't, and vice versa. But they don't get to experience that feeling of achieving a goal or realizing a goal, achieving a dream. Talk to me about that from your perspective, because this is something of one of your dreams come true, right? And this is a long-standing one.
Yeah, this is one I've had since I was 15. And 44 now.
Mm-hmm.
God help me. But it's all about putting the work in. If you want to achieve something in life, you're never going to get it unless you work for it. And in the society we live in now, so many people just expect things to come along and just happen, and it doesn't work that way.
Right. Then they're pissed off at everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. You have to do whatever it takes within reason. Don't murder people. But you have to do whatever it takes to get you there. And it's are you willing to sacrifice the long hours it might take, or the things you might have to cut back on, or you might have to not spend money on X, Y, and Z that you don't really need anyway.
Right.
To make this thing happen. And a lot of it is hard work and perseverance. And that's everybody you see, anybody that's famous or just achieved a big thing. They didn't get there by accident. They got there because they worked their ass off. And I've always been somebody that is all about the hustle, so to speak. If I'm going to do something, I'm doing it 100%. It's not half-assed. It's not. Well, I'll just mess around with it whenever I get. No, I'm doing it. And the room itself was a wonderful. I don't want to say miracle. That's heavy-handed, but it was a blessing.
Sure.
It's not something I expected. It's not something I even asked for when talking about all this. It just happened. But we put in hard work after the fact to make this room what it is. But working as a musician since I was 15, it's been a more than paid my dues situation in that area. So to be able to finally have a place where I can be surrounded by the accomplishments I've made, but also there's so much space in here for more. The album on the wall, for example, I purposely left a bunch of open spaces because now there's room to make more. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it's literally I think it all boils down to just believing in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you.
So much of what you're saying is things that I have said time and time again on this very program. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons why I wanted you on here, because I know you are the living proof of what I talk about. Because I can come on here every week for an hour and a half, say what I say, and then you get people be like, "That's unrealistic. That doesn't happen. This isn't real life." Yeah. Well, maybe not for you, because and with that approach, you are telling me what your level of commitment to anything is. So thank you for that. I mean, you're giving yourself away without realizing you're giving yourself away.
For sure.
Then I think of guys like you, and being able to sit from my seat and pay attention to what you're doing. We don't interact a whole lot on the Facebook or things like that, but like I said at the start of the show, I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
Because I don't scroll, I seek. And
right. Me too.
And I you're one of the dudes that I keep tabs on, because you and I are wired very much the same way in a lot of aspects in this realm. Mm-hmm. And I have always sung your praises, and I use you as an example quite a bit when I have real life conversations, especially with people who tell me I can't. Don't fucking tell me you can't do anything. Can't means you won't, or you don't know how. Yep. Right? And if you don't know how, chances are pretty good there's some sort of resource out there that's going to be able to teach you what you don't know. You don't have to know everything. Right. You can learn as you go. There's a reason why they call it, for the lack of a better term, on-the-job training. You're not expected to know everything. You're not expected to be a genius or an expert in anything. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. It's a progress. But much like you're saying, your level of success is going to come by your level of commitment. And
it all starts with you.
It does. It does. And that's what separates people who talk about it and people who do it, because people can just run off at the mouth until the cows come home. I mean, that's all they love, hearing themselves talk. Yeah. Then there's other ones who, I know this is going to sound like a funny example because I'm a podcaster now and I talk, but you don't know what the fuck I'm working on behind the scenes unless I tell you what I'm working on behind the scenes. And I'm generally one who does not. I might throw it. What happens is I'll get bored and I want to stir the pot. So I'll throw a little teaser out there just enough to get people's attention, like, what's Klaus working on? You know what I mean? Right. And then the unveiling happens and they're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. At that point, that individual doesn't have the opportunity to derail me because the shit's already on the track. You feel me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
This and you're very much like that too, and but you're also living proof that. Listen, you know, we've been friends long enough. We've had these conversations or not, and I know you don't take exception and you don't take shit personally. I use this as an example. You've had every reason to not do anything or to lean into the I can't because of physical limitations that you were born with, right? Hence the importance and the amazement of DDP yoga. And how that has helped, dare I say, save your life, right? Is that fair?
100%. I've told Dallas that countless times that this program not only changed my life, it saved it. I mean, when MWO produced the documentary that we did about me, and having him be a part of it was not only mind blowing, but everything he said in there was 100% true. It was you know physically things were murderous for me before I started doing that, taking better care of myself. And it definitely was a situation that once the results started happening, everything else fell into place.
So you took the phrase, I can't, and essentially made it your bitch.
Yeah. I turned it from I can't have it yet.
There it is. There it is. And you are the embodiment of what can be when you really put everything you got into something that you're passionate about.
Well, I mean, on paper, I had no business in a wrestling ring ever.
Right.
Ever. Not even within 10 feet of one. No business. If you look at my physical limitations, my muscular dystrophy, and my surgeries, blah, 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 I had no business. And instead of saying, well, that dream's never going to happen, I said, well, how could it? What could we do where it could? And even when I told Dallas about it, he was like, are you fucking kidding me? Don't. That's literally what he said. And he goes, don't you dare. And I'm like, no, it's gonna be okay. I promise. And
you're not jumping off the top rope and doing no moonsaults or any shit like that. Your feet aren't even leaving the fucking ground, if we can be honest.
Right. I mean, I can hit the face with a stop sign or two, but still my favorite spot in my whole career.
Oh, that was good shit.
But yeah, like I had no business doing it, and I came to you, and was like, well, I'm looking around, and I'm seeing all the people there, and I'm seeing that they're like me. It was almost like walking into an island of toys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that guy doesn't look like a wrestler, but look at him go. Look at him kicking that guy's ass. That's pretty cool. Maybe I could do this. You know, and through conversations and hurdles and what have you, we figured out a way to make it work. To the point where you know, I've been in championship matches. I've stood across the ring from people who've been in the business for over 15, 20 years. You know, I was in an event full of probably at least 1,000 people in the Expo Center. We had tons of people in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to perform in a main event in the ring in a show like that. I mean, how many people can say they got to do? You know what I mean?
Right.
I I might be rambling at this point, but it's stuff like that. It's finding a way to make it happen. It's being creative. If I will never have a TLC match. You will never see Todd in the ladder match. That's never gonna happen. But I've had matches. I can say I've done it.
Right.
I've checked wrestling off the bucket list. And that's what it's about. As an example.
That and that's going to lead us into this part of the conversation and the reason why I wanted you on the show. How it came across my radar was I went on the Facebook there, and it was the first thing that popped up on my news feed. And it said huge announcement or something like that. It was a YouTube link.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you have my attention. What is your and it's funny you say that, because I think I either said it internally. I know I said it at least internally, but
right.
I may have audibly said it too. Like, what is he doing? What is this all about? Because I don't look at your announcements as like a Tony Khan announcement, where he's like, I got a huge announcement, and it winds up being a popcorn fart in church, and he just doesn't, to the point to where anytime that dude posts anything, I have an announcement to come, I don't give a fuck, because you demonstrated you don't know how to make an announcement.
To quote Rick James, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It really is. It really is. You don't know any more than anyway. So you had my attention. I hit the link, and I was blown away by what I heard. Todd Gilbert is going out on tour, and when you hear the word tour with a local musician, you're thinking immediately, I'm thinking, all right, he's got himself booked as several dates around the state of Michigan, not just here in the Genesee or Lapeer County area. I'm in Lapeer County now. You're in Genesee. Maybe up to the UP, maybe out by Lake Michigan, maybe whatever the hell. But as right before we came on the air here, like I actually started scrolling, I'm seeing Tennessee. I'm seeing Kentucky. Todd, what the fuck, bro? What brought this on? I mean, because this is not a minor undertaking. Like, you are getting, I'm all about getting out of your comfort zone, but you're not only getting out of your comfort zone, you're getting out of the goddamn state, and you're going south. You're heading all over the place. Number one, what sparked the idea? And how are you contacting these venues and making these dates?
So not only by getting out of the comfort zone, bungee jumping out of the motherfucker, but
fair.
To say I'm nervous is an understatement, but it's an excited nervous. Like Garth Brooks said, being nervous before every show shows you care.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't think you can do it. It's you want to be the best you can. And you're nervous. Are you going to be able to get there?
Right.
But it's something I've always wanted to do. And Ash and I did shows in other states before. But never in succession or anything like that. And only one or two. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ever. But I've always wanted to go on the road, but financially, especially in today's climate, it's hard because you got to factor in hotel rooms, feeding yourself every day, 2-3 times a day, gas, upkeep on a vehicle, all the gear you got to keep with you, all the backup stuff you got to take in case stuff you bring breaks. If my piano goes down halfway through the tour, I don't have a backup. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So a lot of pieces had to fall in place, but they fell into place fast. And what happened is a dear friend of mine owns a tavern about an hour outside of Nashville. And he reached out and he said, you know, I have this place that also has a bed and breakfast attached to it. He said, would you ever be interested in coming here and playing? I know it's a drive, but I could make it worth your while to do it. You know, and he offered to put me up for free in the place, and for however long I'm going to be there. Feed me dinner every night at the tavern there, as long as I'm there. And just for that alone, I'm like, man, it's worth it. Because how fun.
Sure.
I don't have to pay for a hotel. At least one of my meals is covered every day. So the big like unknown has been removed. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm like, sure. Sounds fun. So the job I work at, I work at a bank. I'm a teller at a credit union, and we get paid vacation every year. What that means is when I'm not at work, I'm still getting paid for those 2 weeks.
Sure.
So I looked at the vacations I have coming, and I scheduled the show for the end of one of the weeks of vacations I have. And I'm like, you know, I have friends in Ohio. I have friends in Kentucky. I have more friends in Tennessee that I could probably crash on their couches. I wonder if I reached out to other places, if I could turn this into a tour. Because again, if I don't have to worry about lodging, and all I got to worry about is gas and food, that's a drop in the bucket compared to having to pay for hotels every night at $100 a night or whatever.
Right.
And so I started throwing feelers out there, and one thing led to another, and it is now turning into a full-fledged tour. I can't specify where the other shows are yet, as details are still being ironed out. I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Sure.
But it's shaping up to be a pretty incredible show. And it's just me. I'm not bringing a band because that's expensive. And that's all the other people you got to pay for.
Right.
But also, so many musicians nowadays aren't fully committed to any one thing. They're all in 19 different bands, hoping one of them sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't work with people like that. I need people I work with to be committed to what we're doing first. Because if I get on stage, I need to know they know their shit.
Mm-hmm.
And people that are only half in, you don't get that. Rob is one of those musicians that is all in. He does stuff. But he has his own band and they tour and stuff too. So the idea I came up with was using backing tracks. And what that means is pre-recorded by me will be drums and bass. And then I will play my instruments and sing along with it. And to the ear, it sounds like a full band.
Right.
But it's just me. And I've done shows like that before, and they've gone very well. People really dig it. And I'm like, well, this would be the kind of thing to make the tour about. Because people still get a whole full band experience sonically. And venues only got to worry about me.
Right.
So that's another thing I've been here in the studio doing is recording away and figuring out what songs I'm going to do and how I'm going to arrange them. Because it's also not going to be a big-ass rock show. It's going to be more acoustic, stripped down, still up-tempo stuff, but you're not going to get loud distorted guitars and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's going to be a kind of like a If you remember back in the day when we were younger, there was that show VH1 Storytellers.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot like that.
Love that idea.
Where I'm going to be playing my own stuff and telling the stories behind that stuff. But there's also going to be songs I grew up on, songs that inspired me, and I'll talk about why that is too. You know.
Let me clarify something here.
Yeah.
All the music that people are going to be hearing, whether it's an original or a cover, you're recording.
Correct.
They may be pre-recorded and they're playing in the background while you're playing an instrument live, but make no mistake, every note of music that these folks are going to hear came from your hands, from your mind, from your mouth. Yes?
Yes.
Fucking
With the exception of the bass guitar, because I'm not a great bass player. So my friend Mark is actually recording the bass part. But it's all recorded by me or people I have worked with. But all recorded here in this room on everything in this studio, and that's the stuff that'll be on the road with me.
So as you are planning on embarking on this tour, like correct me if I'm wrong, your first show is here in Flint at local 432. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yep.
Now, when you actually go out on the road, is it just you in the vehicle? You're just driving yourself, or are you taking anybody with you?
So we are in the beginning stages of planning. The friend of mine that's helping me produce the tour is very likely going to be coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
Just it helps share the driving. It helps set up and tear down. He'll mix sound for the shows, so I don't have to worry about that when I'm playing. So it'll be me and one other person.
Okay.
But I'll be the only one on stage.
Right.
Yeah. Basically he'll serve as like a tour manager. You know.
How many dates you looking to do on this tour?
When all said and done, probably about 6.
Okay. How far out are you looking to go? Is Nashville or that town outside of Nashville, is that your furthest point?
That's the furthest point. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at doing one show the weekend after I get back as a finale show in another city in Michigan somewhere.
Now, I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm not a musician. What the fuck do I know? You said earlier there's spots on your wall where there's room for new albums. Mm-hmm. Is there a new album in the works?
No.
Will there be after the tour?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would imagine, right? Because you're going to come up with a lot of different ideas and inspirations embarking on something like this. I would have to imagine, yeah?
Yeah, and the idea is I'm recording every show.
Okay.
I'm videoing every show. Because I want to hopefully
do a double live album? That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. See,
you have to.
You have to. I mean, Kiss did it, Frampton did it.
Anybody's done it.
Right. I hope to do a double live album out of it. And
I just threw that shit out there.
Yeah. You saw where the train was going.
Listen, this ain't my first rodeo.
Right. I want to do that. I want to do a video version of it where people can watch the tour as a concert film. And I'm flirting with the idea of a documentary about the tour.
Have to, man. You especially you, because number one, it's your first time doing this. Number two, it's so far out of your realm of comfort.
Right.
You really do want to document this. You mentioned earlier you've got 2 kids. I imagine that they're going to be looking back on this like, man, look what Dad did. And I wish I knew more about what he did. Well, you don't have to wish because you've documented it. audio form, video form, they're going to be able to go back and look, this is what Dad did, and then they can use that as inspiration as they embark on their goals, their dreams, and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
It's just such a wonderful story, dude, and that's why when I saw that, I immediately reached out to you yesterday, and I'm like, I need you on the show. I need you to talk about this, because Todd, listen, man. People, especially when we do what we do on a public entertainment realm, there's two types of people. You've got the ones who really wholeheartedly support you, endorse you, they're there for you, for the right reasons. And then there's the polar opposite of that. They're sitting there, they're shit talking, they're snickering, he'll never do it. What is he doing? He's an idiot. He's this, he's that. Yeah. No, see, that's where I take exception, because you're triggered. That's why you're talking shit like that, because he's reminding you of what you're not and what you are incapable of doing, because, it takes a little bit of effort. They don't have it. They would much rather sit on their couch and play fucking video games for 13, 14 hours a day. Now, if you get paid for that, that's your job. Hey, God bless you. You are living a charmed life. But most people do not, right? So shut the fuck up. Just let this be a life lesson of what can be when you have the right mindset and you're willing to put in the work ethic. And that's something that you have never been in short supply of. You have always rolled your sleeves up, and you've always done the damn thing.
Well, I come from a blue-collar family, I come from a family, my mom and dad busted their ass my whole childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So that and so did my aunts and my uncles and my grandmothers and all my grandparents. So when you're surrounded by that, it's hard for it not to rub off on you, you know.
But it's also how you receive it too.
Sure.
My brother and I were raised by the same two parents. Mm-hmm. My parents, and I have said on multiple occasions, any chance I get, my mother and my father are the two hardest working people I've ever known, and that's where I got my work ethic from, because I never wanted to let them down.
Right.
And I was instilled with, if you want it, you've got to earn it. You got to work for it.
Go get it.
My brother didn't subscribe to that philosophy, with all due respect. He had his talents in other ways, but things like that just wasn't in his wheelhouse until much later on in life.
Mm-hmm. He would tell me stories about that. Because those of you who don't know, he was one of my best friends, mm-hmm. and he would tell me stories about childhood and how he was not like you,
right?
As a child, and as a teenager, and even in his 20s, and that he didn't adopt work ethic until probably his 30s.
Late 30s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And something clicked at that point.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I got to get my shit together, and he was starting to get his shit together when everything went down. But be that as it may, I say all that to say, you can be presented with all the tools to embark on your dreams, but if you don't take them and actually utilize them in the way that they're meant to be, mm-hmm. then you're just pissing in the wind. If I can be honest with you. So, man, I really do. I am so proud of you, Todd. I really am, bro, and I'm so hopeful that this winds up being an overwhelmingly positive experience, and I have no doubt that it will. Not to say there's not going to be hiccups, hang-ups, things of this nature. But I'm pulling.
It can't go wrong, probably will.
Right. But on the other hand, it can't go wrong if it's live. That's kind of my mentality. That's not to say there's not a technical snafu or hiccup or what have you. I mean, that happens. But if you allow that to be the determining factor of that particular endeavor that day, you've beat yourself, right?
Exactly.
You've got to find a way to overcome it, make the best of it, and it winds up being, if nothing else, one of the most memorable moments of that situation, or in your case, of this tour.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your hand in merchandising, you've got your hand in music, you've got your hand in art, you're doing this tour, you're doing Twitch live streams with the drum room. What else you got going on?
That's it.
Okay, great.
That's enough. I'm out of hands.
Now, with the drum room, that happens twice a week. Twitch.com/the Todd Gilbert.
Twitch.tv.
.tv.
Yep. /Todd Gilbert. It happens every Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. And we are starting a monthly theme night where one Sunday a month I'm going to be doing a show dedicated to a specific band or theme. Like an 80s night or something like that. Tomorrow night, when we're recording this, is the first theme night, which is Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
Lars Ulrich is the absolute reason I became a drummer. When I heard Load album from Metallica as a kid, I'm like, I want to do that. That's awesome. And I've grown to study other drummers. And, you get inspired by so many different styles and genres and things you hear along the way. Same with professional wrestling. My ultimate hero when I was a kid was Shawn Michaels. He was why I wanted to try and do it. No, there was nobody else. He was the reason. But as I dove in and started studying more, I got influenced by people like Jake Roberts, Roddy Piper, and in the newer era, people like Roman Reigns.
Sure.
Tribal Chief. People. Exactly. We're not fans at all. People like Cody Rhodes. People like that. You get inspired by you get inspired by everything as it starts rolling. But Lars is the main reason I wanted to become a drummer. So I thought, what a fun first tribute night or first theme night to do music by that man. So how that show's going to work is I'm going to do a set of Metallica tunes, and if I survive, I'm going to open the request up afterwards, and people can request any other Metallica tunes I might not have played. If I know it, I'll play it. If I don't know it, I'll fuck it up. I'll try. And sometimes half comedy is me trying and it just train wrecks. Because it's either too hard or I just don't know it. But people seem to enjoy that too because it's real and it's honest and it's fun. So aside from the tour thing, the Twitch thing is my big thing right now. Yeah.
Getting a lot of positive reception from that.
Yeah. I've got about 30 subscribers so far. And I have some regulars from different countries. There's a guy that lives in I want to say Poland. That comes on every show. There's a guy from Georgia that comes on every show. There's people from England that come in. And it's fun because they'll request songs that I've never heard of. That I have no idea what it is. But then I end up really digging what they request. So I'm also learning about music, new musical cultures and stuff through this show. Because people request things that I have no clue what the hell it even is. And I start playing it, and I'm like, this song is awesome. I really dig this. And I go on Spotify and add them to my follow and start listening to their music. So it's been a really fun way to discover new stuff too, and also to keep in shape.
Yeah.
Because drumming is cardio as hell.
Sure.
And every limb is constantly going. I'm literally probably the best shape of my life right now. I'm back to the shape I was in at the height of my wrestling career.
Okay.
maybe a little better just because you and I are punching each other in the face anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I missed that.
I kind of do too. It's funny. There are days that I'm like, man, I wish we could do one more show. And then I remember how it feels physically a week after that show, and I go, nah.
I hear that.
My body still ain't right. It was worth it though.
Listen, nobody's body's right anymore because our bodies are not made to go through the punishment that we put it through as professional wrestlers. But be that as it may,
you ain't lived and had a cage door broken over your face.
Fucking facts.
I just remember that scaring the hell out of you.
So,
I remember coming to the back and you going, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, why? You're like, the door broke. I'm like, it did? Because I didn't notice. Because it just hit me when I went down. I didn't know. Fun times.
Yeah. That's what we'll call it, for sure.
It's ingrained in video on YouTube.
Yeah, don't I know it? Well, Todd, this was a lot of fun, man. I'm glad we were able to get you on here. When does the tour start? And then again, this is at Local 432 here in Flint, Michigan. What day is that?
So downtown Flint, Local 432. The kickoff Bon Voyage show is August 2nd at 7 p.m. It's a Saturday. I'm going to be joined by my dear friends Becky Coggins and Annalisa. She is the daughter of my friend I was telling you about that's been recording here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
She is amazing. She's in high school and like she's a songwriter, piano player. She's amazing. And it's going to be awesome sharing the stage with both of them. But that kicks off at 7 o'clock, August 2nd. It's a free show. You don't have to pay nothing. I'll cost you your time. So I don't want to hear I can't afford to come to the show. Because you don't have to pay nothing.
Right.
And it's the only time this specific show is going to be in around here. So once the tour is over, it's time to structure a new show and do something different. It's kind of like when your favorite big famous band goes on tour. The next tour isn't the same show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is the only time you're going to catch this tour and this specific show in our local area.
I meant to ask earlier, on this particular tour, every stop is the same show. Are you going to be doing the same playlist for every show?
With the exception of like one or two songs that might be locational specific.
Sure.
My friend who I'm doing the one show in Kentucky had a couple songs he requested that I do. So I'm obviously happy to oblige that. But 96% of the show will be the same order, same songs, same setup, format, same dialogue. It's really going to be like a rehearsed show. So everybody's going to get the same show.
Gotcha.
Because I also subscribe to the fact that it's not fair to the other show if you do something different. Because then the people at the other show get to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you bring the same show every show, everybody gets to see the same thing.
No, I get that. I can appreciate that mindset, you know, because, I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan, which I went onto your Twitch last night.
Talk about somebody who doesn't like set lists.
I was just going to say, I had tuned into your most recent Twitch live stream, and I was like, man, I'm going to send him a Dave Matthews song because Carter Bofield, or that dude, that motherfucker can swing some sticks. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I'm not going to bombard him with something like that because his shit's a little complicated at times. But I'm going to send you some songs I want you to practice for me.
All right.
Then the next time I hop on your live stream, I want to hear at least one of them. Ants Marching is one of them.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
And for anybody listening to, all you have to do, you make a Twitch account. It's completely free. It doesn't cost anything. I'm not trying to sell nothing. It's 100% free. And then you follow my channel. You can get on. There's a chat room. You can make requests. You can just comment on stuff. Or just hang out and enjoy the vibe. You know.
And that's on
Wednesdays and Fridays.
Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yep, at 7 p.m.
Twitch TV the Todd Gilbert.
Yep. Slash the Todd Gilbert. Yep.
And
that's all my socials and everything are all the same. Everything is the Todd Gilbert. I got the idea from Dean Ambrose. Now John Moxley. All of his stuff was the Dean Ambrose back in the day. So I'm like, Now he isn't so great. But that's beside the point.
Right. Neither here nor there. Well, check out Todd Gilbert on his social media accounts. You can find him on Facebook, on Twitch, his official website.
Yep.
Look for him. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow this dude. He's doing amazing things. He is an inspiration to so many, and above all else, one of my close, dear, personal, longtime friends, and I cannot be more proud of you.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
He is Todd Gilbert. We certainly appreciate everybody tuning in here for this week's episode, and you can check us out. Check out the PFC Network on Facebook, as well as pfcnetwork.net. You can also follow us on TikTok and Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it is you want to call it. The cesspool that is, I don't mind telling you. But check us. Yeah, whole different. That's a whole nother argument for another conversation for another day.
It's a whole different episode.
Yeah, it really is. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Klaus to the Heart podcast, the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network.